So the work we do with conscious governance is very much about working with boards and the chief executives and sometimes the senior executive teams about getting them to look at the world in a slightly different way. One of the things that we've found is many organisations, particularly CEOs and boards, tend to look at life through the lens of business as usual. We've got to do it the way that other businesses do it. We've got to do it the way that the sector does it. We've got to do it the way that the industry has always done it. And what we've found is that those organisations that actually break out of that way of looking at the world actually create no more business as usual. And so what our philosophy in working with businesses is to get them to look outside of what they think they already know and get them to understand what business is like, but not buy into that's the way of actually doing it. And this is the conversation we have with boards of directors and also CEOs right across the world, is that there is so much more possible out there if you're willing to look at things slightly differently. And what we do is show them how to look at things slightly differently. So when we talk about the typical business things like finance, like strategy, like risk, like leadership, all the sorts of things that you find most businesses are really interested in, then what we do is we take what boards think they know, we take what CEOs think they know, and we say, well, what if that wasn't so? What if it was a slightly different way that we could look at things like strategy? Most people think strategy is long-winded, takes an awful lot of time, and not sure whether it works or not. Well, what if it wasn't that way? What would need to change? What if it was easy? What if it was quick? What if it was totally different to what you'd already decided it would be? And then what we do is we sit down with them and show them ways that they can actually create that as part of their business. And everywhere they think they know how to do something, we look at that and say, well, what if that wasn't so? What would need to change there? What are the barriers? What would need to change to create that? So what we're doing with businesses, particularly at the top level, is to get them to look very differently at what they think they already know. So they're creating not as usual, but as the way they want it, but taking into account what other businesses are doing.